Welcome to today's deep dive,
Yeah.
where we're going to be tackling a book that's generated quite a bit of buzz,
Mm-hmm.
The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene,
It's a good one.
published back in 2002.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating look at power dynamics through history and philosophy,
Horror.
and even a touch of psychology.
Yeah. A little bit of everything in there.
We've got all 48 laws in front of us ready to explore
Right.
which ones still resonate in today's world and which ones
Mhm.
might have faded with time.
That's the big question, isn't
It
it?
is a big question.
You know what's really intriguing about Greene's approach is that
Yeah.
he doesn't shy away from the more ruthless aspects of power.
Right.
I mean, he's pulling examples from figures like Machiavelli, Sun Tzu,
Oh, yeah.
but also dives into the strategies of seducers,
Mm-hmm.
artists,
Okay.
even con artists.
Okay.
The question is, can these age-old laws
Right.
really offer valuable insights
Yeah.
in our modern, arguably more complex world?
I mean, let's start by diving into some of the laws that, at first glance, seem surprisingly relevant even today.
Okay.
Take Law 6. Court attention at all cost.
Right.
It's all about standing out, becoming a magnet for attention.
Mm-hmm.
Think about P.T. Barnum,
Oh, yeah.
the master of self-promotion.
Right.
Or Count Lustig, who used mystery and intrigue to pull off elaborate cons.
Oh, yeah.
Even Mata Hari, the famous exotic dancer and spy,
Wow.
understood the power of cultivating a captivating persona.
Yeah, and you know what's so fascinating is how this law translates into the digital age.
Right, sure.
In a world saturated with information and vying for attention online, personal branding and strategic self-presentation have become more crucial than ever.
I know.
Greene was definitely onto something back in 2002.
It's almost like he predicted the rise of the influencer.
Uh-huh.
Right. Okay, let's move on to Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument.
I like that one.
Greene argues that demonstrating your abilities is far more persuasive than simply talking about them.
I don't tell.
Exactly.
Right.
And he uses this brilliant anecdote of Michelangelo dealing with criticism
Oh, yeah?
of his David sculpture.
Oh, I've heard this one.
Instead of arguing, Michelangelo took his critic up to the scaffolding, pretended to chisel the nose, and asked, "How about now?" The critic, seeing no change, declared it perfect.
Yeah, just totally played him.
That's amazing.
It's such a powerful reminder that actions speak louder than words.
It's true.
In a world where everyone's promoting themselves, showcasing your skills and letting your results speak for themselves
Right.
is often the most effective way to win people over.
Yeah,
Think about it, a strong portfolio, a proven track record.
Yeah.
These are what truly make an impact.
absolutely.
Right.
Now let's get into a law that's a bit more, shall we say,
Ugh.
thought-provoking.
Okay.
Law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability.
Okay, interesting.
Greene suggests that keeping people off balance, never quite knowing what you'll do next, can be a source of power.
So it's about
Yeah.
cultivating an aura of authority, a sense of mystery.
Right.
General Stonewall Jackson,
Mhm.
during the Civil War, known for his confusing military tactics,
Yeah.
used this to his advantage.
Okay.
And then there's Queen Elizabeth I,
Right.
whose unpredictable romantic maneuvering kept potential suitors and rivals guessing.
Oh, wow.
It's a tactic that's certainly been used throughout history,
Yeah.
but is it ethical or even practical in today's world?
That's a great question.
Right.
It might work for a military strategist
Mm-hmm.
or a monarch,
Sure.
but how does this play out in a more collaborative,
Yeah.
transparent environment? Could it backfire?
Good point.
Definitely something to consider.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears to a law that seems universally applicable. Law 23. Concentrate your forces.
Okay.
This one emphasizes the importance of focus and strategic alliances.
Right.
Greene uses the example of the Rothschild family,
Mm-hmm.
who built a financial empire by concentrating their efforts in specific areas and forming powerful connections.
Right.
This law resonates so strongly
Okay.
because it speaks to a fundamental principle of success.
Yeah.
You can't be everything to everyone.
Right. It can't.
Whether you're building a business, pursuing a creative passion, or even just managing your daily life,
It is true.
focusing your energy on what truly matters
Mm,
and aligning yourself with the right people can make all the difference.
it really can.
Think about it. Are you spreading yourself too thin? Or are you strategically directing your efforts towards what you truly want to achieve?
Yeah. Are you spinning your wheels or are you laser focused?
It's a powerful reminder to prioritize and to seek out collaborations that amplify your strengths.
Totally agree.
Now, for a law that seems to go against the grain
Yeah.
of our current self-help culture, Law 28, enter action with boldness.
Yeah.
Greene argues that taking bold action, even when you're feeling insecure,
Interesting.
can create a powerful impression.
Okay.
He uses the story of Pietro Aretino,
Yeah.
a 16th century Italian writer
Oh, okay.
who rose from humble beginnings to become a renowned satirist and influencer.
Wow.
Aretino's audacity, his willingness to push boundaries and challenge the status quo,
I see.
helped him achieve extraordinary success.
Okay, so this is really interesting because this law challenges the idea
Right.
that you need to wait until you feel completely confident
Yeah.
before taking action.
Totally.
Greene seems to be saying that sometimes bold action itself
Right.
can be the catalyst for building confidence. It's almost like a fake it till you make it strategy, but with a deeper psychological twist.
Yeah.
It's about overcoming those inner doubts that can hold us back.
For sure.
Of course, boldness needs to be tempered with wisdom and strategy.
Right.
It's not about being reckless,
Right.
but rather about having the courage to step outside your comfort zone and take calculated risks.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about a law that's particularly relevant in any field where you're dealing with people. Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew.
Oof.
It's about understanding the people you deal with, particularly their weaknesses and vulnerabilities.
Okay.
Greene uses the example of Daniel Drew, a 19th century financier who manipulated the stock market by playing on people's greed and fear.
He knew how to push their buttons.
Yeah, he knew how to push their buttons, so to speak.
But this law isn't necessarily about being manipulative.
Right.
It's about developing social intelligence.
Yeah.
It's about being perceptive, understanding people's motivations, and being able to anticipate their reactions.
Yeah.
This kind of awareness can be invaluable in negotiations, in building relationships, and in navigating complex social situations.
Totally.
Think about the people you interact with regularly.
Yeah.
What are their motivations? What are their pressure points? Understanding these dynamics can give you a significant advantage.
For sure.
Not in a manipulative way,
Right.
but in a way that allows you to communicate more effectively and build stronger connections.
Absolutely.
So we've explored a handful of laws from the 48 laws of power that seem to hold up in today's world.
Right.
Laws about cultivating a presence, taking strategic action, and understanding the people you're dealing with.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
But Greene's book is full of diverse and sometimes controversial strategies.
That's right.
Let's dive into some of the laws that might be a bit more questionable.
Okay.
Perhaps even outdated in our modern context.
Now that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because while some of these laws seem timeless, others might make you raise an eyebrow.
I'm sure.
Are they relics of a bygone era, or can we still glean valuable insights from them?
I'm ready to unpack some of those more ethically ambiguous laws.
Let's do it.
Let's see if they stand the test of time.
All right. Okay, let's kick things off with a law that might make some people uncomfortable in today's world. Law 1. Never outshine the master.
Ooh, that's a spicy one.
Greene argues that appearing too ambitious, especially in hierarchical environments, can backfire.
Okay.
He uses the example of Nicolas Fouquet, a French finance minister who threw a lavish party that overshadowed the king's own festivities.
Oh, no.
King Louis XIV, feeling threatened, had Fouquet arrested and imprisoned.
Yikes.
Ah.
So it's a cautionary tale that highlights the delicate balance of ambition.
Yeah.
While we're often encouraged to strive for success, there's still a need to navigate those power dynamics carefully.
For sure.
Do you think this law is still relevant in today's workplace, where collaboration and innovation are so highly valued?
It's a fascinating question. I mean, while outright sycophancy is unlikely to get you very far in a modern work environment, there's still a need for a certain level of diplomacy. It's not about hiding your ambition, but rather about framing it in a way that benefits the team or the organization as a whole. Shining too brightly without acknowledging the contributions of others can create resentment and hinder your progress.
So it's more about strategic self-promotion than about dimming your light altogether.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to another law that seems pretty intense. Law 15. Crush your enemy. Totally.
All right, bring on the intensity.
Greene suggests that when you defeat an opponent, you should leave no room for revenge.
Okay.
He even cites the fall of the Spartan Empire after their victory over Athens.
Right.
Their complete annihilation of their rivals created resentment and instability that ultimately contributed to their own downfall.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder that total victory isn't always what it seems.
Wow.
Sometimes leaving an opponent a way out, allowing them to retreat with some dignity, can be a more strategic move in the long run.
I see.
It can prevent future conflicts and foster a more stable environment.
So it's more like a long game strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Mao Zedong, who was known for his ruthlessness, understood the wisdom of leaving enemies an escape route.
Well,
It's about choosing your battles wisely.
yeah.
Is it really necessary to completely crush your opponent? Or could a more diplomatic approach lead to a better outcome?
I like that.
It's something to consider, especially in today's interconnected world where relationships and reputations matter so much.
Absolutely.
Let's shift gears to a law that seems like it could easily backfire, Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one.
Okay, how's that one work?
Greene suggests that projecting an image of power and confidence can influence how others perceive you.
Interesting.
But he also acknowledges the dangers of arrogance.
Okay.
He uses the example of Louis XVI,
Oh, yeah.
who, despite inheriting immense wealth and power, became increasingly disconnected from his people.
Right.
This disconnect ultimately contributed to widespread resentment and the French Revolution.
Wow. So it's a reminder that power without humility and connection
Right.
can be fleeting.
It's easy to get caught up in the trappings of success and lose sight of what truly matters.
That's true.
In today's world where authenticity and empathy are so highly valued, do you think this law still holds up?
It's a delicate balance, I think.
Yeah.
While projecting confidence is important,
Uh-huh.
it needs to be grounded in genuine substance.
Okay.
People can usually sense when someone's being arrogant or putting on a facade.
That's fair.
True leadership comes from a place of humility, empathy, and a genuine desire to serve others.
I like that.
Now let's dive into some of the laws that Greene himself acknowledges as ethically ambiguous.
Oh, okay.
These are the ones that really make you think about the complexities of power
Yeah.
and the choices we make in pursuing it.
Like-
Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim is a prime example.
That sounds a bit manipulative, doesn't it?
That does a little bit.
He even uses examples of con artists like Yellow Kid Weil, who used charm and selective honesty to swindle people out of their money.
Well, what's so fascinating about this law
Yeah.
is that it raises questions about the nature of honesty itself.
Right.
Is it ever okay to use honesty as a tool,
Right.
even if your intentions are ultimately good?
Okay.
Where do we draw the line between being strategic and being deceptive?
That's tough. It's a gray area for sure,
It is.
and it's something we encounter in everyday life, not just in extreme cases of con artistry.
That's true.
Think about negotiations, marketing,
Mhm.
even our personal relationships.
For sure.
We're constantly making choices about how much to reveal, how much to hold back, and how to frame our intentions.
Yeah, it's about being aware of the subtle ways in which we can influence others and being mindful of our own motivations.
Right.
Are we acting with integrity, or are we trying to manipulate the situation to our advantage?
That's a great question.
It's a question worth pondering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up this exploration of the ethically ambiguous laws with Law 40. Despise the free lunch.
Okay, that one sounds interesting.
Greene suggests that accepting gifts and favors creates a sense of obligation which can be used against you.
Yeah.
He advises paying your own way to maintain your independence.
Okay.
He uses the example of Louis XIV, who kept his nobles in line by showering them with gifts and privileges.
Mm-hmm.
They became dependent on his generosity and were therefore less likely to challenge his authority.
Oh, I see.
But doesn't this contradict the idea of reciprocity,
Yeah,
which is so fundamental to human relationships?
that's a great point. Giving and receiving are essential parts of building trust and connection.
Totally.
How do we reconcile this with Greene's advice to be wary of free lunches?
That is a tough one.
It comes down to discernment.
Okay.
It's not about rejecting all acts of kindness or generosity. It's
Right.
about understanding the motivations behind the offer.
Okay.
Is it a genuine gesture of goodwill, or is there a hidden agenda?
Right.
It's also about being mindful of the power dynamics at play.
Okay.
Are you accepting a gift that could compromise your independence or your ability to make objective decisions?
That's a good point.
These are questions worth considering, especially when dealing with people in positions of power.
Yeah, I mean, so far we've explored a range of laws from
Yep.
48 Laws of Power.
We have.
Some that seem surprisingly relevant in today's world.
Mhm.
some that are more questionable, and some that fall into that ethically ambiguous gray area.
Right. It's a real mix.
It's clear that these laws aren't a simple set of rules to be followed blindly.
Definitely not. They're more like a lens through which to view the complexities of power dynamics.
Okay.
They can help us understand the motivations of others, make more strategic choices, and navigate the often subtle dance of influence.
But ultimately, the choice of how to wield power, or even whether to engage in that game at all, is up to each individual.
And that brings us to the crucial question. If power dynamics are a game, can we play it ethically? Or is there always an element of manipulation involved?
It's a question that I've been kind of mulling over this whole time. If we're constantly navigating these power dynamics, can we do so without compromising our values?
That's the ultimate challenge, isn't it? Greene's book really kind of lays bare all those strategies and tactics that have been used to gain and maintain power throughout history. But he leaves it up to the reader to decide how to apply that knowledge.
He doesn't shy away from the darker aspects of power.
No, he doesn't.
But he also emphasizes the importance of self-awareness, strategy, and adaptability.
That's what makes the 48 Laws of Power such a thought-provoking read. It's not like a how-to manual for manipulating others. It's more like a mirror reflecting those often unspoken rules of the game. It forces us to confront our own ambitions, our own vulnerabilities, and the choices we make in pursuing our goals.
So we've explored laws that seem timeless and others that feel outdated or even ethically questionable. What are some key takeaways that our listeners can apply to their own lives, regardless of their field or ambitions?
I think first and foremost, cultivate self-awareness. Understand your own strengths and weaknesses, your values and your motivations. This will help you navigate power dynamics more effectively and make choices that align with your authentic self.
Know thyself.
Classic advice.
It is classic advice.
But it's so crucial when it comes to power.
Absolutely.
Second, be strategic. Think about your goals, your audience, and the context you're operating in. Choose your actions carefully, anticipate the consequences, and be willing to adjust your approach as needed.
Be flexible.
Flexibility is key in this ever-changing game of power.
The rules are constantly shifting. What else?
Remember that power is not inherently good or evil. It's a tool, a force that can be used for constructive or destructive purposes. The choice is ultimately yours.
It is.
Use your power wisely, ethically, and in a way that benefits not only yourself, but also the people around you.
So find that balance between personal ambition and collective well-being.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the 48 Laws of Power, I want to leave you with a final thought.
Shoot.
As you go about your week, pay attention to the power dynamics at play in your own life. Are you using these laws consciously, or are you being influenced by them without even realizing it?
It's a good question. This deep dive is just the beginning. The real challenge lies in applying this knowledge in a way that feels authentic and empowering to you. The 48 Laws of Power can be a guide, a warning, or simply a fascinating glimpse into the timeless strategies that humans have used to navigate the complexities of power.
It's true.
Knowledge, after all, is power.
But
using that knowledge wisely is true mastery.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back next time with another thought-provoking exploration of ideas that matter.